What's going on? This is Ferrari Killian Wyland. I'm doing a quick video on one of my favorite guitars, the crown jewel of my collection as of now. It's the Ibanez 10th year anniversary gem, and I modded it to my liking. It's been on the road with me over the last year, and I've used it quite a lot. I'm in love with it. I'm super stoked that I was able to get my hands on it. And as you can see, those are some cosmetic customizations that I do. Probably my two favorite things about this guitar would be the fretboard is literally the most beautiful ebony ever. It really, really does feel like a high-end guitar. And I have nice guitars. This really feels like top shelf, top of the top. So that, the ebony fretboard, and then the other thing is the kind of abalone, the whole binding that's done around, and the finish is really, really nice. It feels like a work of art, and as far as bridges go, I personally can't really stand a traditional Floyd Rose made by Floyd Rose, although there may be some out there that are higher end that I wouldn't mind playing as much. To me, it has to be a high-end Ibanez, like licensed to Ibanez by Floyd Rose, basically, is what I'm saying, because just even the cheaper Ibanez floating bridges, they have this just cheapness, like a plasticky feel. You don't get that with the Low Pro Edge or the Edge Zero. I've talked about that before on here. But it is definitely complicated and can be really annoying to do a setup and intonate. And so shout out to my guitar tech who does a great job. And I guess shout out to me I've been working on this one. I've had this like on my work table for months, going at it a little bit. It needs some love because it's just been banged around. It definitely has a patina on it. It's a vintage guitar. Anyway, I'm obsessed with these and adding more to my collection. Really recently got into the iron label, and especially the AZ. And of course, everybody knows that the Fender HM Strat, not just a Fender Strat, the HM Strat. If you don't know what it means, go look it up. I'm sure you already know what it means. Those, to me, are amazing Fender instruments. And when it comes to Ibanez, I guess I just have a thing with Ibanez. It's just like, can't really get away from it. However, in my opinion, they're lower end, like it's a drag, because in my opinion, you should be able to get an incredible guitar at a more entry-level price, but it just, you could get like maybe a great piece of wood, but you're not going to get enough quality unless someone's, but people are selling, I guess. Some people are lowering their prices, some people are increasing them. I don't know. I think this has the traditional Evolution pickups on it. These are the stock pickups as far as I know. And at some point, I'll probably do some mods in the pickup department. But this is a big deal for me to get this guitar. And so there's a lot. It's a very sacred thing. And as someone who does dark wave goth gaze, I'm not afraid to use the word goth. I will say I totally understand why people like, what's the guy from Soft Kill? You know, he used to post all the time, goth bands, we're not goth, you know. Even Andrew from Sisters of Mercy used to really just recoil. He didn't want to be called goth. And I totally understand why, because... Well, and he had a very understandable, like, intellectual answer where to him, the early goth stuff was just too pigeonholed. It wasn't, he said he's always had a great respect for song to make like a great tune. And just the OTT over the top of the pops. The Floodland's an amazing record with all the choir and everything. It's just it's very iconic. So a lot of goth bands don't like to call themselves goth. They don't want to be limited in that way. But I want to reclaim the word And so my point is, when I first saw my first gem in a store at Guitar Trader in San Diego and Claremont Mesa, sadly, it's not there anymore. We've got to bring it back. We have got to bring back, like, save your local guitar shop at all costs. Good thing is there's like a vintage guitar store based in LA has now opened, I think, 2 locations in San Diego County, one in North County and one down where Guitar Trader was, and I've yet to go. Definitely wanting to check those places out. So we're working on it. San Diego is becoming a little bit more like LA in that way. But yeah, all I can say is this is, it's transcendent beauty. That inlay, the way it was done, just impeccable. You have to see it to believe it, I guess, and play it to believe it. It really needs some love, which is why it's been on my work table / Corbusier metal dining table for a couple months, because I'm really working at it. It takes a lot of time to learn how to set these up, and got a couple of hints from Steve Vai's guitar tech himself, so those have been helpful. And, basically what I wanted to say, or I kind of went on a little bit of I definitely have ADHD all the way. And I've had all kinds of stuff. I suffered from depression a lot starting as a teenager. And I had a friend who used to say, anyone who didn't go through hell in middle school has no soul, which I think is hilarious. Sadly, it's not necessarily funny, but it's true. Anyway, my point is I was drawn to the gem, and the fact that I was drawn to that guitar when it was a white guitar was really strange to me. There was something about it that was literally like heavenly ordained moment, because I had been swimming. It was like a cold, blustery day, not winter. It was probably more like June gloom, but it was cold. And please, I'm putting out there, save our winter's foundation. Do everything you can do to heal this godforsaken planet from global warming before it becomes more of a nightmare than it is. Anyway, I did learn the other day that Dubai has actually air conditioning on the streets, which if some inventor out there is listening, we got to do something. Our planet needs an air conditioner. Anyway, that relates to guitars, because guitars need a sacred, dare I say, vampiric, gothic sanctuary in which to be taken care of best. And as someone who's really into like post-punk shoegaze, like I'm talking about like people who really know shoegaze. When I first got into shoegaze, the scene was dying down, but it was like my own little shoegaze revival with my friends in the early 2000s all the way through until now. And so it's really rad to see a younger generation becoming obsessed. It would just be nice if they realized that just because something is pink or loud and noisy doesn't make it shoegaze. But yeah, the average, like, I had never seen someone... I guess what I'm saying is I was not expecting to, because my first guitar was a Fender, I was not expecting to fall in love with and really connect with an Ibanez, traditionally a shredder guitar, and I 100% identify as a shredder guitar player as well. I love jazz fusion and Arabian music, Turkish music, fast playing, but not just fast with finesse. So it was that moment when I saw my first gem. It wasn't the ultra high priced, but it was like just below that. And that guitar saved my life that day. Literally, I remember playing it, and I remember my feet were all sandy coming in from the ocean, and the dudes in the shop were really cool, and they could tell that guitar was meant for me. So that was how that happened. Yeah, and I just thought, well, it's perfect for me, because if I'm going to do something, I have to be I just don't like to I don't like to run and do everything everyone else is doing. Like, I've got to put my own spin on it. So If you play dark wave, stay the fuck away from the Ibanez gem because that's my territory. Just kidding. Maybe not. In all serious, though, everyone will know if you're out there trying to imitate me. Everybody knows I did it first, and it's the irony of it. But I think that every artist that's born that, you know, like I went through hell trying to find myself and just trying to create, basically be the band. When I was working at the Orange County Museum of Art, my friend David, who was like, I thought for sure he was going to go to some like major contemporary art school and become an art star. I mean, he would like religiously read every article, every critic's review. He would, in Art Forum magazine. There was actually like an art professor where I went to college who's some big deal. Molly Nesbitt was a former editor. It can be such snobbery and ridiculous. However, thank God for art. Thank God for conceptual art, video art. Before I started studying music, I was straight up video artist. Like it syncs up with skate culture at the time, when mini DVs and like the Sony VX, like I couldn't even dream of affording the Sony VX video camera. I sold it like sadly because it was just reminded me too much of 9/11, but that's a story for another day. What I'm talking about is finding your voice as an artist and your style. And I think it felt like the ultimate challenge to be like, well, I'm here with a white shredder guitar and I'm going to make goth music with it. I want it to kind of symbolize, immortalize me. And so my friend David was like, because he knew we went to LACMA one day, went to this really rad show. We had a lot of fun. And this was back before I had even quit smoking cigarettes, and traffic in LA was bad as always, but it wasn't that bad. And we got a cassette tape from the MoMA store, I think it was, not MoMA, Mocha LA. And we like listened to this really ambient music on repeat on the drive all the way home with like the windows down, chain smoking. And then every once in a while we'd be like, this is so good. Like that's the type of person who's meant to be my friend. Where the hell is everyone? Like why does nobody do shit like that anymore? If you're out there, hit me up, because it's just, you got to be on the level. You got to understand why something's amazing. So anyway, there's a lot of idiots in the art world, but there's also incredible people who are basically saving society. So God's the ultimate artist, and everyone should either be an artist or appreciating, supporting art. But anyway, it was such a great story. It was a similar feeling of when I was like, it was a cloudy, blustery day, and I went in the ocean and came in with like sand, with sand on my feet and salt water in my hair, and just played that thing. And I was like, this is it. So anyway, and I wanted to add the lead singer of Soft Kill. So there's what's that podcast? I don't think we're related, but Blake Wyland does a podcast. We have the same last name. It's called Tone Mob, The Tone Mob. He's done a couple great interviews. One with Ken Andrews is one of my favorite. He's like very prolific. And I bring it up because this is the type of stuff I love to talk about. And now in perfect ADHD fashion, I forget exactly why did I bring up that podcast. Something about customization of guitars, effects. Effects are so personal. And we have a really sick effects showroom down here. If you don't know, now you know. Check out Coast Sonic. The guy who owns that place, Jody, he's a great guy, and he's a former professional skate photographer. So I'm really, they're not open like, regular business hours, but if you get in touch with him, he has a great area inside this kind of business park where you can stop by, play pedals, and it's North San Diego County, like by the Carlsbad airport, so it's close if you're coming down from LA. But there's a real connect, I guess. For me, there is from skate culture and all of that. And now I'm like, oh, this is what I wanted to say. The guy from Soft Kill. So why he would always, I guess he went online and was like, goth bands, attention goth bands, we're not a goth band. And yeah, it's like Andrew Eldritch said the same thing, and I get it completely. However, I think it's a different time and place for it. He was also, I guess, God, I'm forgetting his name, the lead guy for Soft Kill. I haven't had time to really get super into them. I know he was really raving about like a 60s Les Paul Jr. Was that not Les Paul, SG Jr. And I remember thinking, dude, this guy's talking about like getting out of trouble and bad connections. And next thing you know, he's buying like $14,000 guitars. He must be living well, which is good. I'm all for musicians living well. What can I say? So that's why I brought up the Tone Mob podcast. And just because I love the word goth so much, and it's fine if I'm misunderstood frequently. There's so many subsections within goth. But yeah, so my friend David, that day, I was trying to be the band. That was the phrase that came out of his mouth when we were hanging out, because he knew how obsessed I was with music. I was watching like a Susie and the Banshees show on YouTube, early YouTube, MySpace days. And I was like, how the F am I going to figure out like how to do music? And he's just like, you got to be the band. And that is, I guess, has been my path. So that was before I even came up with the name Ferrari Lover. Really went through a lot of crazy shit to get to even that point. But yeah, I'm grateful I get to do this, and I love guitars, and I just kind of random ADHD thoughts about with a hint of autism, highly refined social cue reading autism. I'm basically illuminating you all about extremely niche obsessions of mine. And so thanks for watching. If I missed anything, or if you can follow my nonlinear thinking, welcome to outer space. By the way, I say welcome to outer space because if anyone hasn't realized it yet, like our world has been so destroyed by global warming that I just have to live in my heart, in my soul, in my ambiance, in my home studio. I make it feel like outer space, just in case anyone's wondering. I think that's one of the challenges as an artist, and one of the main reasons people say they don't want to be associated with goth bands. Like, basically, Andrew was trying to separate himself from Sisters of Mercy, from like super out there. You know, there's a lot of early Bauhaus records where there's a lot of songs that are really out there, where it's a lot of art school rock, and he wanted to make pop songs, basically dark pop. I'm all for it, but basically, I'm not joking. Like, I just make my whole vibe is kind of vamp outer space, and but it's very, very real, and I think artists get misinterpreted a lot. Like I said, with my favorite record, Floodland, the lyrics can be really biblical, and I had one, it's not, I appreciate every single fan, like you cannot imagine. Appreciate you guys. But what am I trying to say? I think I had some dude email me, and he was just completely misunderstood. A lot of times I'm joking. I've been that way ever since I was a kid. I make these like just extremely deadpan jokes. And so I understand that I'm sitting here in my living room in Southern California talking to you. But for me, in my heart, it's vampire outer space. Just to clear the air, just in case anyone's confused about what I'm trying to say. So, good night and good luck.